Hi everyone, welcome to SELINTalks, podcast initiative by Selin Club. We connect, engage, and acknowledge educators globally. Let's welcome Preeti Pasricha today on SELINTalks. She's an author, educator, vice principal of Radcliffe Group of Schools. She holds multiple prestigious awards in the nation, and last but not the least, she is the director of Mumbai chapter Selin Club. Let's welcome Miss Preeti Pasricha. How are you, ma'am?
I am good, Shruti. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too. I believe it has been a lot of busy days for you. Thank you for
Yes.
taking out time for us.
Thank you. It's totally my pleasure, Shruti.
Yeah, I was reading a lot about you and I've gathered a lot of information to talk about. You have authored a book as well, so we are going to talk about a lot there. And you have been into, teacher trainings and teacher enhancements as well. I've read about it, and you have won so many awards. I mean, it is so astounding to actually learn about it. There's a list of it with me. So you're
Right.
also the chapter director of Mumbai chapter from Selling Club. How does it feel to be in this position for Selling Club?
See, it definitely feels great. I don't know whether you have seen my WhatsApp status or not, but it's my permanent status, and this quote is written by me, and it says that mother gives birth, teacher gives worth. So
Wow.
this is what I feel that I am made for. I have like God has sent me on this earth to be a teacher and to teach everyone, educate everyone. So definitely being on a sell-in platform is like I will get more people around to teach and educate and to get in this fraternity. So I'm
Yeah.
like glad, totally.
Thank you so much. You have a book authored named Preeti's Perfect Tip and Mastery 11 Superior Tips to Be on the Top of at the Workplace During Pandemic. Could you tell more about this book? What does it talk about? How did you think about it? How did you author it entirely? What was the process like?
Sure. So Shruti, if like I start from you during lockdown, what did you do during lockdown basically? I mean, what is your age, Shruti? Okay, no, I will not ask. What are you doing, Shruti?
So I'm the co-founder of the organization, ma'am. Initial days
Mhm.
of lockdown, we were all kind of relieved that we got some, time off, everything. Initial days are actually, it was full of anxiety, obviously, because I have health anxiety that way. But eventually we kind of moved to, cooking in the house. We were spending a lot of time with the family. And later on, I think I had to give myself some time to start working again, so a lot of concepts we had developed together during the lockdown. A lot of things that we are working on right now were the concepts back then. So eventually we had to move to working again. So yeah, I
Mhm.
think the fun part was for a little bit, but we had to find ways to work with the team. There was a lot of, transitioning happening from work from home, from, checking out the softwares, tracking things and all. I think that was the part of it.
Right. So as you asked, I mean, we are discussing about the book that I wrote before Corona. No, none of us would have even imagined that in the 21st century we will be locked in our homes. This usually used to happen during First World War and during that time when people were asked to, make blackout in their homes and stay in their homes throughout. That was
Right.
that era. But in 21st century, imagine people staying inside the home where people are totally used to going out and not only during the daytime, but even during the like night time
Right.
as well.
Yeah.
So, but then I was thinking since people are locked down, they are shut in their homes and they are not able to travel. So why not travel globally, digitally? So
Right.
that's what this thought got in. I this thought came into my mind that I should make people travel globally but digitally. Everyone got more digital. They got more tech savvy during this Corona period. But Corona has really helped us. I mean, it has taught people how to get digitally equipped. So this was the
Yeah.
time when I thought that it is not that only because you are locked at your place due to Corona, everybody is locked inside, and that does not mean that you cannot work. You can still work. You can still meet people. In fact, this was a golden chance where you can meet people across the country,
Oh,
across the
yeah.
globe. But then it happens only when you have to offer something. Otherwise, why will people come and listen to me? Why will they do that? So if you have
Right.
to offer something, that means you also have to learn something. So that is what I thought of in writing the book, that how can you be at the top even during pandemic? Like nothing can stop us ever. The sun does not stop shining every day. The clock does not stop, and unless the battery goes off. So why should we stop as human beings?
Right.
Corona hai to kya hua? It's okay. We can still do that from home. That is why I wrote all these different tips. Like in whatever profession you are, how can you still move around digitally, globally, and meet different people? And this book definitely helped so many people around, that on LinkedIn, I used to get hundreds and hundreds of compliments. Normally, people get wishes only on their birthdays and anniversaries. There were thousands
Right.
of messages. But only after writing this book, I used to get hundreds of messages every day that this
Wow.
book has helped them tremendously. And I deliberately kept the price of the book only at 99 rupees,
Wow.
because then anyone would love to buy that. And
Yeah.
the amount that I received out of this, I definitely gave it to for charity. I didn't keep it anything for myself, but I wanted people to know that nothing can stop you. You can still be at the top during pandemic. That is why I wrote this book, so that everyone is there, is everywhere.
That's how noble of you that also you did a charity out of the this thing.
Yeah.
It's really noble. Also, you are backed up with a lot of degrees. You have masters in
Hmm.
commerce, post graduation in psychotherapy and counseling, and so many more. You have also done early childhood studies as well. So, what advice would you give somebody who is just completing their 12th? How should they decide their educational path? Like how should they, obviously there are career counselors out there, but there has to be some kind of tips or something that you would give to the viewers who are just coming out of 12th standard.
Sure, Shruti. Basically, at the age when they are in 12th standard, that is around 16 to 17 years, everyone keeps on asking these children, not only when they are in grade 12, but even when they are in 6, 7, beta bade hoke kya banoge? But abhi when we are big, I mean big enough, हमसे कोई पूछे कि क्या बनोगे, हम तो बोलेंगे हम फिर से बच्चे बनेंगे. But these बच्चे, those who are already बच्चे, and we ask them what profession do you want to go in, if they are replying something, I want to become a doctor, I want to become an engineer, first of all, these children don't even know what does
Yeah.
it take to become a doctor, what do they have to do to become a doctor. They say only the professions which they see in their day-to-day lives. Plus, if they find those lives little more fascinating, exciting, interesting, then they say कि मुझे डॉक्टर बनना है, मुझे ट्रेन का ड्राइवर बनना है, मुझे पायलट बनना है, क्योंकि they think that these are most fascinating jobs. But to decide what do they want to become, they should know why should they become that. Only then that will be the right decision. But then apparently at this age, they don't even know what to become. Most of the girls and boys get attracted towards becoming models, pilots, getting
Hmm.
into Bollywood, Hollywood, because that is what they spend their most of the time on internet and on phones. There
Yeah.
is an inner calling in each one of us, whether they are children or adults. There is an inner calling. So that is why I think being in CBSE schools, the skill based education that has come in from grade 8 onwards, we have to introduce certain skills to the children. So this kind of education should be given in the schools itself. Only till you don't, like, cross the river, you will not
Hmm.
know how the flow of the river is. So you need to go through particular skills. There should be more and more of guest lecture happening in the school. There should be more
Right.
of internships given to the children in the school. Otherwise, how will they decide what do they have to become? And if they
Right.
are deciding at this age, at 16 or 17, that is, I guess, only 10% of children, those who are highly inclined towards studies, they study for 9 to 10 hours. These are the children, those who are seen in the newspapers, they get 90-95 percentage. Only these percentage of children can easily decide what do they want to become. But what about rest of the children? So that is
Right.
why there should be more internships in the school. There should be more guest lectures, as I said. They should be given exposure to different professions, which will help them to decide what do they have to become when they grow up. So
Right.
that is the only thing that any school can do for these children.
I think the internships and the guest lectures only start happening in colleges or PGDM or postgraduate courses. I think it should start a little before to understand what would work, because a lot of kids,
Right.
not even we were, when I was in school, even we were very confused. Joby, everybody was taking science, everybody wanted to take science, everybody wanted to do BCom and BBA and law and everything, anything that was it was like a herd calling that was happening for a very long time.
Right.
And only
Right.
until that you decide that now is the time that, the real world starts happening, you need to get a job. Everybody was clueless. Like, I
Right.
remember everybody wanted to, again, the same postgraduate PGDM, and I remember even then, everybody wanted to get into Fortune 500, but they did not know how and what would be the
Right.
purpose of it. So I think that
Right.
needs to start very early. Do you think the new education policy actually will bring in that change? Because you have
Oh,
spoken a lot
yes,
about
yes,
it.
it definitely bring change. The new education policy, मुझे लगता है that is the only education policy that has been read by each one of us. You
Right.
know, when previously the policies had come in, there were few number of educators, there were few number of schools. Now with the increasing number of schools, with the increasing number of educators, we have international schools, IB board, IGCSE board, with different kinds of boards coming in. Now even
Right.
80% of the parents, they themselves are educated. So I guess most of the parents also must have definitely read what is NEP. As you
Yeah.
asked whether this will bring change or not, but as in this field I have already seen the change coming in. The
Okay.
textbooks, the books, the publishers, they have changed their books. They have got it as per NEP. You know, the
Oh,
curriculum is also already changed. If you
right.
see in a stationery shop, in a book shop, you will see that it's written there that as per NEP syllabus. So we
Hmm.
also, as school, as in the management, we prefer buying books which are already changed as per NEP. So if the book is teaching something as per NEP, that means the delivery will also be as per NEP. So
As
if there
yeah.
is something new that is being delivered in the classroom, so there has to be change. Change is inevitable, totally like unavoidable after this NEP.
Right. I think it will give a lot of insights to students. Also think about unconventional. Like India, mein, a lot
Hmm.
of jobs are unconventional, but when you go about skills, learning how to even doing fixtures for your own house, very basic
Right,
skills that everybody would require. I think that also
right,
puts things into perspective that you need to learn this as a life skill, not like a something that will be berated afterwards. I think we suffer a
right.
lot when generation later on want to go abroad and study, and there are a lot of life skills that we don't know actually out of a lot of factors that are there. So yeah, I think
Right.
that will be the biggest. According to me, that will be like a very life skill based rather than just career based. If you don't mind me asking, there was a point in time wherein your parents decided to withdraw you from school due to some financial cash crisis. How did you overcome, and you actually had the zeal and passion to turn the situation and overall, right? So what was your thought process as that kid, and how did you actually overcome it?
When my parents told me that they will discontinue with my studies. So even now, at this age, when I'm at my workplace, what I try and do is I try to first listen to what the other person is saying. This I'm doing since my childhood. Then I understand why the other person is saying so. Then I start analyzing and I slowly and gradually, make my decision to be the other person's decision as well. So how I do that?
Right.
First by listening to the person, then agreeing to whatever the person is saying. So if I'm listening to something, if I'm agreeing to something, Abhi Shruti, if even if you have your siblings, agar तुम्हारा छोटा भाई या बहन, they are listening to you, will definitely say, अरे वाह, ये ले chocolate मेरी तरफ से. आज तू थोड़ा एक्स्ट्रा घूम ले, आज तू थोड़ा गेमिंग एक्स्ट्रा कर ले. That
Right.
is
Right.
what I follow this strategy always. So when my parents told me to discontinue with my studies, I agreed to them. I told them, don't buy
Okay.
books for me. Instead of writing in the notebooks, I started writing in the air. Whatever the teacher used to say in the classroom, I started writing in the air and I used to memorize whatever write in the air.
Oh,
And the parents saw that even after doing this, I'm getting good results. Then they themselves told me, okay, I will not discontinue with your studies. So I take them towards my decision. I make my decision as their decision as well. Then they saw my hard work, they saw my efforts. Then they, of course, changed their decision. Then in grade 11, in my college, I was actually removed from the college. In the month, college started from June and I was removed August. Mein. The parents told me that they don't want me at all. So August, they discontinued. Then the final exams happen take place in the month of March. That is in the next year, March. Then in March, I
right.
told them these many months, like I then joined a job. I was working with a CA. He used to give me 500 rupees per month. So these many months I have only earned and I have not done anything else. So please pay some fees so that I can at least clear my grade 11. But then
Right.
this college principal and my parents also told me that how will you cover the entire portion? You will waste our fees. As it is, we are falling short of money. I just told them, you trust me, I will not let your fees get wasted. You please pay the fees and I will do the studies. I will do what I used to go to the Raddiwala, buy books from him of the last year. I used to study from those books. So I studied and I made it a point that I got good results. So then they again changed their decision that yes, I should continue with my studies, and then I joined grade 12. So this is what how my journey was.
I think it gives up a lot of. I think the skill is required should be learned by everyone. How to actually step in other people's shoes and understand why and hows of it, and then leading up, towards. I think hard works in the end, it actually pays. Also, during all of this time, what would you describe as your breakthrough point? Like, okay, this has helped through all of these things.
Okay, that's an interesting one again. Have you heard that story of the frog inside the well? And they always say the story about this boiling potato. So we should know what is our boiling point, what is our breakthrough. So the breakthrough of mine is a very silly one. You will definitely find it a very silly one. Have you seen a ball pen, Shruti?
Yeah,
What is there in that ball pen?
that clickable this thing,
Yeah, right.
the
But what is there
spring,
inside the ball pen? Yeah, sorry, come again.
the spring, na.
Correct, correct, correct. The spring. So, like those many years before the ball pen was invented for the first time, when I saw it for the first time in the shop, so I used to wonder, what does this refill mix come out and go in again? So I thought I saw that there is a spring that is helping it to do that. Then I realized that how the spring is getting compressed and then coming up again. So that was my breakthrough of my life. I thought whenever I get old, whatever I become, whatever profession I join in, but the qualities that I should imbibe in myself will be of a spring. How much ever the life compresses me of anything, whatever the situations are, I will again come, I will again bounce back, and I will show it to everyone that
Wow.
yes, even I have the qualities of a spring. I know this is very silly, but this is what it
It's
is.
not at all. As in, the perspective of you seeing a life in another way is very inspiring actually. And
Then
also you've been part of. Sorry.
Shruti, just a second. Then I also, when we go to play in the garden, we have this swing and seesaw. Where the seesaw, where the person is sitting, two people are sitting on both
Right.
the sides. So again, when you're going down, you have to like push or pull yourself and go up. So that also,
Right.
like I was inspired by the seesaw also. That other their friend I know, we are playing I know. But even at workplace, if somebody is putting you down, you should have the strength to come up again. So it's totally up to you whether you want to stay down, cry, and crib, or you want to just push yourself to come up. So you
Yeah.
need to have that qualities.
Yeah, you need to literally put all of your strength to actually push yourself up
Right.
and come. Yeah.
Yeah, it only needs that strength for a second, for that spur
Yeah.
of movement. And once you're at the top, nobody can put you down. But you need to
Yeah.
do that exercise over and over, over and over again, or else you get stagnated, you get outdated. So you need to do that over a period of time again and again.
You have also been a part of corporates, and now you've been an educator for so long. What was your transition like, and what was the whole thought process into it that came into existence?
As I said, when my parents were discontinuing with my studies, so the first office that I joined was working with a CA. That was for a very temporary period, short period of time. Then I joined a corporate that was at Lower Parel, Power Master Engineers. I was in my
Right.
first year of BCom. So I was working hourly basis. If my
Oh,
college, like it gets over at 10:30, so I used to go from, I was studying in SIS College, Sion. I used to run from Sion to college to Sion Station, from Science Station to
wow.
Curry Road, and then Curry Road, I used to run to reach Lower Parel office so that the sooner I reach, the more number of hours will get added, and then I'll get little more salary. And I, worked diligently, sincerely. We all of us know that the employees get increments only once in a year, but
Right.
thankfully, like my bosses, they noticed my hard work, my good work, and I used to get increment every 3 months.
Wow.
Every 3 months,
Very
like in
impressive.
literal sense. The accountant used to wonder that ये क्या है आपको boss हर 3 महीने में increment दे रहा है. But yes, I used to work diligently. It's not that I
Right.
used to work there for 6 hours or for 5 hours, so I will do only that much amount of work. But I used to complete my work that a person should be doing it in 8 hours. I used to do it in 5 hours, 6 hours. That is when that was the, like, transition period when I understood that if you are working diligently, it's not that you will go unnoticed. People will
Right.
definitely notice your work provided you make them notice. Now you should be working only not because you should be get noticed, but you should be working to produce good results. The outcome of your work should be so beneficial for your company that if they notice, you will definitely be taken ahead. So that was the
Right.
transition time. The more I was noticed, the more the appreciation, even we all of us like appreciation. That also
Right.
validates our thought process that yes, we are in the right direction. So that was the
Hmm.
transition period.
Right. I think, yeah, that is the gist of it, that as simple as one can explain, and, quite systematically, right? You have interviewed with India School News in magazine of the year 2020 that speaks about, things that should be adopted in a school by all the teachers. Could you explain, or, just give us a gist about it? Because a lot of our viewers are teachers, are educators.
Yes,
So I would
yes,
really
yes,
like to
sure.
know.
I still remember that was my first interview, India School News. That was my first interview, and I got approached from LinkedIn. I was wondering
Oh,
कि मुझे लग रहा था कि why does somebody want to interview me? But then they also said the same thing that they have been following me on LinkedIn, especially during this Corona 2020 2019. I started doing one course every day. I started posting my certificates on the social media. That is where they started following me and got to know about me. This interview also, it was a telephonic interview. I was in the school. I got 3 4 calls for them, but I was so busy. I actually squeezed out some time from my office. I stepped out of my cabin. I was in the balcony, I mean in the corridor balcony of my
yeah.
school, and I just this interview was for 20 25 minutes. That was the place where I was least found, so nobody could find me, like where is Preeti ma'am. But I was in the corridor balcony, and it was interview which I just spoke my heart out to them. And that interview was such a hit that from there is just following.
Do you think everybody in every field should follow this kind of, mental notion that, you're not just dragging people, you are with them? Do you think that should be like a common notion to be practiced?
I think not only in every field, but even parenthood should be the same. You should not ask your children to follow whatever you're saying, but you
Mm-hmm.
should give them that liberty to ask why should they be doing this. Most of the
Right.
time when children go back home, parents only tell them that keep your bag, remove your shoes, remove your uniform, have your food, open your book, do your studies, do your homework. This is giving instructions to them. Are we talking to them?
Mm-hmm.
Are we listening to them? So
No, not at
once,
all.
if everyone is at your side, even if they are small, they are 4 years old, 5 years old, they have some brain of theirs,
Of
allow them to
course.
speak what is going on in their minds. Only then they will know whether they are right or wrong. So this starts
Mm-hmm.
from there. If you as a child are given this liberty at your home, if you as a parent are given this liberty at your home, it definitely will trickle towards your workplace.
Of
You when
course.
become as a boss, you will allow your employees to do whatever they want to and to speak whatever they want to. Otherwise, how
Yeah.
will they be corrected? Otherwise, how will they know that what are they doing is right or wrong? If you give instructions to your employees that do this, do this, do this, they will never grow. They will
True,
not
very
be able to
true.
give their own, they will not be able to give their own suggestions, their own opinions. Then how are we allowing them to grow?
Yeah.
Even these plants, you just have to water them once or twice in a day. Rest of the day they grow by themselves. So this is what
Right.
you're supposed to do as a leader. You're supposed to listen to them once or twice in a day. Allow them to interact. Only then the employees will grow and the children will grow at home.
Right. I think it starts from home, and it starts from parenting altogether. The whole leadership things that come into work later on should be, starting from home. Unconventional jobs and other things that are coming into place. There is an unconventional job or a career called social media influencer or social media promoters, and all of these things that are coming up, which requires more of creativity and not like an academic success to be there, right? But obviously skills that are required, creativity and everything. What would you, as a teacher, what would you tell parents about this? Because a lot of parents are okay with it, a lot of parents are not okay with it. What are your thoughts on about it?
Parents are not okay with these unconventional jobs because उनको लगता है कि these are short-term jobs. These will not fetch salary for a long term. But
Correct.
it definitely will. But it definitely will. When you were as a child, when I was as a child, I knew only few professions. Those can be counted on fingers. That yes, these are the only professions that exist.
True.
We never,
Very true.
we were not aware. Like there are different. If you just go around, you will see that there are so many different kind of professions going around. When I in 2020, especially when I got like suddenly popular on LinkedIn, people started approaching me that will you give us classes for LinkedIn, how to get popular on LinkedIn. That is when I realized, oh my god, aisa bhi hota hai. But I didn't do that. That is a separate thing. But then they told me that yes, people are doing this. They charge 300 rupees, 400 rupees for an hour just to, guide us. When are you
Yeah.
supposed to post? When are you supposed, like, what are you supposed to do on a social media? When and how? But then
Right.
yes, there are many kind of professions which are not even known. That is why, as they say, that change is rarely accepted. And if you don't know a certain place, parents don't know about a certain profession, that is where the hesitation comes in. They think कि ये तो क्या खुद भी बोल रहा है बच्चा है ना, he is getting influenced by these professions and he is getting
Hmm.
carried away. That is why he wants to go in so and so profession. But if you sit, if you analyze and if you study about that particular profession, I guess only and until if you don't allow your child to explore, to learn from his mistakes, how will he or you as a parent will get to know whether this profession is actually right or wrong?
I think that's it. Is there anything else would like to tell our audience? Any one advice that you'd like to give to our audience and to us, from an educator, that would be?
Yes, from an educator and from a human being also, I would give an advice in Hindi कि अपना हर पल ऐसे जियो जैसे कि आखिरी हो. That is the only
Wow.
advice I would like to give.
So good.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, Shruti.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time.
Yes,
It has
thank you,
been
Shruti. Yeah.
really great speaking with you.
Same
Thank
here,
you so
Shruti.
much. Even this
Thank
was
you.
really fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.